All right, good Wednesday morning, everyone. 48 First Alert Meteorologist Eric Burke with you here in the 48 Weather Center. Today, a 48 First Alert weather day. That's for the concern of very heavy rainfall, frequent cloud ground lightning, and maybe some stronger wind gusts with the most organized storms. We're not necessarily anticipating a significant severe weather threat. In fact, most storms should stay below severe criteria, and we're going to cover all of that here as we go through this Facebook Live. So let's get right to the radar. We'll start with that, and then we'll start talking about some of the impacts that we're expecting as we go through the day. So going to the radar, this is what we've got right now. No storms at this time are severe, and just continuing to track the very heavy rainfall that is now moving into parts of northwest Alabama, out through parts of Franklin County, Colbert County, as well as Lauderdale County. If someone in the comments could just let me know that you actually can hear me and you see everything okay, and then we'll kind of just go from there. Always helps to have someone say, I could actually hear and see you, and that means that the live is working correctly. This is mainly going to be for more inconveniences expected over the next couple of hours, basically through early afternoon. I think by the time the evening commute rolls around, and then we're going to kind of start to see this all wrapping up and pushing off to the east. But good morning to everyone that is here. Katie Ashcroft, she can hear and see. So thank you so much. But put this in motion for you. There was an earlier tornado warning north of Lawrence County there in Tennessee. Wasn't long-lived. It was just for some broad rotation that popped up there. A warning was issued by the Weather Service in Nashville. Went on for about 10 minutes. Didn't look like it produced anything. That rotation was fairly broad. But our timeline had this entering far northwest Alabama as early as 9 a.m. and we were about 10 minutes behind schedule. And that timeline goes all the way back to when Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis put out that timeline, and that was earlier last night, actually. So no changes. The model's been all over the timing of that. I'm going to pause it. It just gets to be a little bit of a nuisance, and we're going to zoom in right here on parts of far northwest Alabama. The lightning counter has actually gone down quite a bit, too. The biggest concern with this is really just going to be heavy rainfall, leading to tough conditions out on roadways, ponding puddles expected. If this line slows down a bit more, we could see potentially a flash flooding threat starting to develop through parts of the North Alabama, Middle Tennessee, but really just some lightning at the moment. Winds not too terribly strong, and it doesn't look like we have any real significant areas of rotation. The tornado threat is incredibly low with this. Have to mention it just because sometimes you get a little bit of spin out there and something happens quickly, but a primary concern will be some gusty winds, and it's just a good thing to think about. Think about those outside holiday decorations that you have that could maybe become loose, or they're not secure as it is, and then they start blowing down the street too. But everything looks to be cooperating right now. Things are below severe criteria. Just a lot of heavy rain. And I'll actually pull up the hail tool. Maybe some pea-size hail possible with some of this. We really just don't have the shear in the atmosphere. That's something that's really lacking with this. And let me get the... No, that's not the tool I wanted. I was hoping to show you the potential hail size with this, but doesn't seem to want to. Oh, the dropper tool. There you go. That makes sense. Yeah, this would be very small hail, if anything. So we'll go over timelines and everything here in a second. Just want to kind of give you the general. This is what's happening right now. All that starting to track from west to east, and very, very proud of our storm timeline on this, dating back to last night too. And we were within about 10 minutes of that actual arrival time for those out in parts of Waterloo, for example, far western Lauderdale and far western Colbert County. A greater area of concern with this is likely going to be areas to our north. They just have a little bit more favorable of an atmosphere, a little more instability to work with too. And I think if we do see anything becoming stronger to severe, it probably would be over the state line in Tennessee. So that's something to note if you have travel plans today. Just giving you kind of that broad overview of why we have a 48 first alert weather day. We've got the storms already developing around 9 a.m. That was kind of our initial time frame. And then just tracking east as we go through the rest of late morning, through lunchtime, and then we go into the early afternoon. Impacts here, heavy rain, frequent cloud-to-ground lightning, and it's going to be the wind gust, straight line winds, and not necessarily severe wind gusts, but still causing a few headaches. Sometimes you get those tree limbs coming down. We have seen a significant amount of rainfall here lately, so something that we're watching from that perspective. And I mentioned those holiday decorations. You don't want that big, expensive, inflatable Santa or Rudolph or Christmas tree or Frosty the Snowman. You don't want them kind of breaking off the strings and then blowing down your street too. But power outages, with an event like this, you can never really say, oh, we're not going to lose power anywhere. Just another look at your kind of impacts here. There you go. There are your storm threats. Wind kind of in that moderate to high category. Heavy rainfall, frequent lightning, those are just about guarantees, and maybe some pea-size hail. But just kind of go back to the radar, and this is all just kind of moving through. I don't really have an exact speed on this, but I can still try and give you my best guesstimate as far as that storm arrival time. So we're going to pan this a little farther to the east, and then I'm going to go ahead and just say this is moving about 30, we'll go 35 miles per hour, give or take. Put that storm track up for a little bit and just kind of leave it up so you guys can get a good look at that. And then that's for the next hour. If we do 2 hours, you'll kind of have that longer storm track here. And kind of the other deceptive thing is these storms are moving east northeasterly, not necessarily just due east. They're a little easier to track when they move more uniformly. But yeah, here's kind of that storm track. Just leave that up for a little bit for you. Take a sip of coffee. Again, if you're just joining us, nothing urgent, nothing pressing happening right now. If you are in the shoals, we'll look at that camera there in a second. Just kind of have a peek outside, see what's going on. A lot of thunder, a lot of lightning, heavy rain, and maybe some 20 to 30 mile per hour winds at this time. But that's, again, the most pressing thing happening. And this line's not just going to blow through. It is going to linger for a little bit. So it's that's where maybe a potential threat of flooding could start to develop too if we see this line really starting to slow down. But go out toward Florence there, 953. Lexington, 954. McFarland Park, obviously a notable landmark there, 954. Sheffield, as well as Tuscumbia. Toward Killen, the Shoals, 958. Russellville, 1001. Littleville, 1003. And Leicester there at 1008. So that is the latest storm track to my best guesstimate of the actual motion and speed of the line at this time. So get that cleared off for you. And you just have to hit cancel on that. That's a right click. And then now we should be able to clear that off. Okay, so again, nothing rotating. Certain things we'll be watching as this moves through. Again, little kind of notches. You get some of that inflow coming in or any of the kind of waves here in the line. All things that we watch when we typically have these lines of storms coming in. This might be an area. That and increase in lightning. Lightning concentration in particular is always something that we're watching with these lines of storms and just kind of rolling through like the setup we have at the moment. So just keeping an eye on all of the chat rooms, of course, and NWS chat. Everyone that's with us, 234 of you. Now, again, this live video is posted on multiple pages. I'm only looking at the comments right now on my WAFF 48 Eric Burke page. It is posted on the WAFF 48 page, the station page itself. It's on Northeast Alabama weather. You might have seen some posts from Brad on that page, and it is on YouTube too. Unfortunately, I can only have one window open of comments. So if you're commenting and saying he's not addressing me, I do apologize, but that's just kind of one of the limitations we have here. Just looking at some of the velocity data here. This is a ton of rain. Basically just a ton of rain. We got some very high DBZ. The radar returns coming in. Obviously that would be a torrential rain leading to some poor visibility. I mentioned the cameras. We will go out to beautiful Wilson Lake there in northwest Alabama, and here's your look at actually what's happening out there. That does look pretty spooky, a little ominous there with the dark clouds. I'm gonna see if I could turn that camera around for you. So that's overlooking the dam, Wilson Dam, Wilson Lake, of course. Yeah, those are dark clouds rolling in. Might actually get kind of a shelf cloud look at it. We won't see it from this side because it's already passed overhead. Just looking at how fast those clouds are moving, that's kind of interesting to see. And then kind of on the back side of it, we just kind of have those darker skies there. And then the rain shafts, you're going to see that once I pan, I should say not scan, you can see some of the rain shafts there when you do look off to the west. So that's everything that's coming. Might be able to catch a couple lightning flashes here in a little bit as this continues to just move eastward. But just joining us, nothing severe, nothing imminent as far as immediate threats. We'll probably see this camera start shaking in a little bit once the wind gusts start to pick up, and we'll probably see some heavy rain moving in, poor visibility. If you look at the lake, I know I'm moving that camera quite a bit here. Sorry about that, but you can see some of the waves forming on the out there on Wilson Lake. So we've got meteorologist Jeff Denoyer. He's going to be joining us for this little this little chat session that we're having here. But so that's a look in the shoals. What other cams do I have? It's actually a beautiful day right now in Decatur. Pull up that camera for you really quick. Seeing some peaks of sun too. You're already at 65 degrees. That is impressively warm here for December the 18th. A gorgeous look at Guntersville. Now, of course, Guntersville, your arrival time probably going to be maybe from noon to 1 p.m. We'll put that guesstimate out for the time being.
Feels very, very springy-like outside. Very, very warm and humid. You'd think there'd be some real pop to these storms.
Yep, and we've got meteorologist Jeff Denoyer joining us. Might know him from his famous weekend morning coffee times. Always pulls a great crowd. But yeah, Jeff, just kind of giving them the rundown. And we go out to our Space and Rocket Center camera. This is pointing west now, down 565. You know what's looming. You go 50 miles west of here, you know what's going to be looming is that line of rain, wind, and lightning, but can't see it right now. One of those deceptive days. We said if you could get through the fog on the morning commute, you'll be okay, and you get to the office, and then you go to school, if you're at work or school, and then you look out the window, and all of a sudden it gets really kind of dark and eerie, and then the rain starts. You kind of hear it pounding the roof of your workplace or whatever, but that's all we've got for the moment.
That shot in the shoals looks pretty intimidating, though.
It does. Kind of one of those, I said we probably missed the shelf cloud. I was ranting about the radar and catching everyone up on why I'm doing a Facebook Live with no severe weather or even strong storms at this time, and I probably missed the shelf cloud coming through. So that one is on me. But yeah, very, very dark now over parts of Wilson Lake, Wilson Dam there. You know, the boat traffic, the commercial tugboats and the barges they push around, you know, they're out there in the elements all the time. So
first initial push of this storm is pretty much it, this line. But some residual rain behind it too. Keep in mind, I know we're always tracking severe weather and everybody's like very worried, and we get it, we understand. Even though the severe threat doesn't look all that impressive today, there's still some gusty winds. But think about the rainfall that we may get out of this. You don't want it to flood. You don't want too much of a good thing. I get it, but we really can use the rainfall across the Tennessee Valley. And this could be exactly what the doctor ordered if it behaves and doesn't get out of control.
All right, Marion, watching out in Florence, probably getting a little noisy out by you, maybe noticing the wind picking up. Jeff making a good point there. We've seen 3 different rain events so far this week. So it is starting to add up. Each rain event brought us roughly 1/4 to 1/2 an inch, depending on where you live. Actually had some decent storms roll through there Monday evening, overnight into... what was it, Tuesday morning. It was gone by the Tuesday morning commute. Stan, always appreciate your reports. 4 6/10 there as far as rainfall goes for December. Appreciate that as always, Stan. So the ground is saturated. Could lead to some runoff. If we see this line of rain and lightning wind slowing down, could see some maybe roadway flooding isolated. Maybe some flash flooding later today, but I think it's moving enough that that's not going to be the biggest issue. But you also have to think that ground, it's soft, it's saturated, kind of muddy, and then those non-severe wind gusts come in, and that's where we could see some tree limbs coming down, leading to maybe isolated power outages. But things look good for the moment. Our arrival time was spot on, by the way.
It was.
9:10. 9:10. We were within 10 minutes of that. So modern forecasting technology, love that for us.
See the number, when we first came into work, remember how many lightning strikes was on that line though? And it has backed off, like the amount of lightning a strike. I mean, it's still a powerful, rainmaker coming closer, but when we first came in and you showed that, what was that, at 5:30, the amount of lightning strikes when it was moving back through Memphis was impressive. And that lightning has kind of backed off just a little bit. I mean, there's still some winds and stuff, but.
That it has, yeah. And we don't want a ton of lightning. Lightning does no benefit to anyone, for that matter, too. And that's another thing that, so let me just pull up some of the wind speeds there. That's estimated, not necessarily at the surface. If it was over 40 miles per hour, I'd probably start getting some of those special weather statements from the Weather Service. But yeah, things look good. I mean, this is just a lot of heavy rain. Anytime you get that DBZ value over probably 40, that's good rainfall. We're talking moderate to heavy rain, and that's going to be problematic for people out on the roads, just trying to keep everything up. Now we're starting to see some of that rain move over the Wilson Dam camera here, and starting to see just kind of the cloud bases. There you go, a little less visibility. Looks like rain, at least from my perspective. Probably starting to come down. Easy way to check is you kind of usually just, you could look at the pavement. Although it's so dark at the moment.
It's so hard to see.
Please stop moving.
Shoals camera has a mind of its own.
It does. It gets started and it does not stop. Yeah, we've got, looks like some rain there. Not the heaviest rainfall right now, but you can see it on the camera if you look closely. So right now, just a light rain over parts of Wilson Dam there, but it's going to start coming down pretty heavy here. Going back to the timeline here, this is what we've got. Now through roughly 11, that's when Tennessee Valley Living. We'll start with the fabulous Peyton Walker. Hope you join us at 11. Meteorologist Chelsea Aaron will have a couple weather updates during Tennessee Valley Living from 11 a.m. to noon. And then, of course, from noon to 1 p.m., we'll have our newscast at noon with Gina Benitez. And then a couple updates during the NBC programming from 1 to 2 p.m. So that's what we've got as far as coverage today. Obviously, if the situation develops and intensifies, and we feel the need for continuous coverage, just pop on your TV or the stream will keep going here. But great to see 200 plus of you. Again, the stream is on multiple channels. Right now, only monitoring and moderating the comments on the WAFF 48 meteorologist Eric Burke page. So if you're commenting elsewhere and thinking I'm ignoring you, that is not the case. But it's just hard to have the multiple windows open here. But everyone, getting ready for Christmas here. Look at your 10-day forecasts. I'll give you that too. Just kind of give you that look ahead.
If you're dreaming of a white Christmas, turn away.
Oh, but I don't know if we will see much of a white Christmas anywhere across the lower 48. Very, very warm air moving in, and that's going to ruin a lot of people's hopes there for any glimmer of hope of a white Christmas. But I can tell you with 100% certainty, it will not be a white Christmas here in the Tennessee Valley. We've got the alert day today. That's for the rain, wind, lightning threat. Colder air starts to arrive overnight. Past couple of mornings, we've woken up with dense fog and temps in the 50s and 60s. Going back to the puffier coats tomorrow morning, morning temperatures will be in the mid to upper 30s. And I don't know if fog will actually be a concern just because that northwesterly wind with us overnight into tomorrow morning should prevent any widespread fog. At least some of those bodies of water, sheltered areas might have some patchy fog. Thursday, not bad for December 19th at that. Sunny skies, high of 52. 47 to end the week on Friday. Weekend forecast, first weekend of winter. We've got the winter solstice and a high of just 43. The solstice actually occurring there 3:20 a.m. Central Time. And then Sunday, 47, mostly sunny. Bit of a warm-up coming for the week of Christmas itself. If you've got plans to head out of town, Monday, Tuesday, even Christmas Eve Tuesday, Christmas Day, I think we're tracking some rain. Doesn't look like we'll have any threat of strong to severe storms. That's good news too. You see Santa there and his wreath ho-ho-hoing. And then we're in the 60s to end the week, maybe some chances of rain there.
It looks really warm through New Year's too. Just a spoiler alert. So
that
not
is
much winter. Not much winter feel, right? What's
no, the end of November, that was cold enough for me.
November and December played out complete opposites. November started off warm, finished cold. December started off wicked cold, and then it's going to end warm. It's almost a complete 180 what we had in the 2 months. Big time changes throughout the month. Those lightning strikes.
Persistent.
It's hanging on.
Persistent lightning. Just with a setup like this, typically if we had temps, I think, in the 70s and just a little bit stronger of a front coming in, I mean, this would be one of those events where we'd probably be tracking severe weather right now.
Higher too, probably.
Yeah, dew point at the moment.
50s or 60s?
We had some low 60s earlier, and they were mainly west. And we still have 61 from Haleyville to Russellville for the dew point. And wind, persistent southerly, southwesterly, about 10 to 15. And looking at some gusts, non-storm related wind gusts, probably going to be in the 15 to 25 mile per hour range. Any storms that get more organized, 30, 40 plus miles per hour, yeah, that's possible.
And on that graphic with the wind speed, what's real important, look at the SWWWN. What happens when you go W to N, right? That's the front moving through. You're changing the wind direction, which means you're on the back side of the front, and therefore the front has already cleared the area. So even though the storm threat winds down as we go through late morning and early afternoon, the air doesn't change direction until after the front clears, and it lags behind a bit, and then your winds start gusting out of the north. So if you're outside around 4 or 5 o'clock, you'll feel the wind direction change.
Yeah, that's what we call a backing wind. Typically happens behind a cold front, and you get that southwesterly, northwesterly change, and that also ushers in cold air advection. Sometimes when Jeff and I are just hanging out in the weather center, we'll talk about a little bit of cold air advection, the CAA abbreviation. And ahead of this, we had significant warm air advection, a little bit of WA, what we call a veering wind. And that's
why it's 68 in the shoals right now.
That's why it's 68. But these temperatures, they don't look to plummet like they have with the previous cold front passages that we've seen. Think of those cold blasts. We had the wind chill in the teens not long ago. It's not going to be that immediate drop. The northwesterly wind overnight, persistent, probably 5 to 15 sustained. That's going to limit our fog development too. Brad's not going to be working on his garage in a little bit. Not in a little bit, but I could almost guarantee that he's out there tinkering something right now. He made the timeline graphic. He knows when the rain's coming out to his house there. So, yep, just...
Yeah, I'm the really bad one that gives nicknames to all the weather stuff that doesn't make any sense, and I have to be really careful with that because sometimes I use them on air and somebody's like, "What is that?" I don't even know
what is he saying? There's no actual
Yeah.
meteorological term that makes sense.
That rain coming down pretty good in the shoals. Again, I mentioned this earlier. A good old soaking rain won't hurt anybody. You just want to, it's like all things in life, in moderation, right? And the rainfall, if it can stay to the point where we're not talking about any kind of flash flooding or any kind of widespread flooding, we want the rainfall. I mean, if you're going to get it, you might as well get it on a Wednesday after the morning commute, before the evening commute, and do it during the middle of the week when it's not on the weekend, and you get your beneficial rain that you really need, and that's what we're looking at right now. It could work out perfectly if we can stay away from severe weather and flooding, right?
Yeah. We're going to look at the southeast. There's just our setup. Important to note that some of the dew points, if you go out into Oklahoma, even Missouri here, the dew points fall into the 30s. So that's that colder, drier air bullying its way in. And what a cold front does is it undercuts the warm air, causes that lifting motion. That's what a front does, kind of wedges its way in there. But yeah, the drier air, you'll notice the difference. I've actually appreciated a little bit of an increase in the humidity here the past couple of days because it's been so grossly dry. And if you don't have the humidifier going in your bedroom, you wake up, you just kind of feel stuffy, and just your nose feels dry, your skin starts to dry out very quickly. But that's the setup. Someone was asking about the skew T, and I don't know if I have. Give me a skew T, please. Okay, I've got a skew T. Who I think Elias was asking for that. I use the College of DuPage weather page there. They've got great model data too, Elias. If you don't know that exists, it's I'll type it out for you. That's going to be a lot easier than me trying to read it to you. So there you go. There's your skew T from Birmingham, BMX here this morning. But we never were thinking we had a setup that would really produce any widespread severe weather threat. I'm not totally eliminating any chance of seeing one or two isolated severe thunderstorm warnings potentially today, kind of favoring that area more so to the north. They've just got kind of a better dynamic and instability set up there to our north. And that's why I made this kidney bean looking graphic here early this morning. Probably shave some of that red area out of parts of Mississippi because that's over. Once this comes through, your threat for any stronger storms really just starts to drop off basically as soon as the heaviest rain falls over and out of here. Change up the radar sights. We'll go over to high top. Get that look. It's going to show up a lot better for you in parts of northern Lincoln County there. Good morning to all you in Fayetteville. A little bit of lightning there. Just the messier line setup just really lowers the potential of seeing severe weather with this too, at least to the north right now. Heading toward Tullahoma, you've got Shelbyville there, the worst of it going to be behind you, or off to your east rather, in about 10 minutes, and then heading toward Moore, Franklin County there. Go out toward the beautiful Anderson community, Killen, Florence, Muscle Shoals. Just absolutely getting soaked right now with the Wilson Dam camera. Go back to that. So that's about it. This is, if we're going to have a rain event, this is the type of ones that we like to see. Again, too much of a good thing is a bad thing, that being too much rainfall. But so far, things look good. I did build a graphic for, I'm sure Brad's got one too.
It's like a pepperoni pizza. Who doesn't want to eat a whole entire pepperoni pizza? But how are you going to feel after you eat that pepperoni pizza? You're going to feel gross, right? Because you ate too much. Same thing with rain. We don't want too much rain. You're not going to feel bad about it, but we don't want flooding. And in all seriousness, we don't want any severe weather. But boy, if we could squeeze out some decent rainfall with this, that's a win-win for the area today.
So this is going to be the European, nope, I want Euro temps. Okay, this is the European look for Tuesday morning, Christmas Eve morning.
Boy, you going next week.
Yeah.
I love this.
Just, you know, people got plans. It's important. That day has been on the 10-day forecast with Santa waving, and you know everyone focuses right on what. So this is the European model. Bring in some rain potentially as Santa's making his rounds. It's now 3 a.m. Christmas morning. Be sure to join us right at 4:30 a.m. on Christmas morning. I'm going to be there. I'm going to wear a sweater. It's going to be a bit more casual, probably than the suit and tie. I'll still probably have a tie on, but I'm planning on my Christmas outfit already, a week away. But this does bring in pretty decent rainfall through most of very late Christmas Eve night and then through Christmas Day. So that's the European model. Notice temperatures 40s, 50s, eliminates any chance of a white Christmas. Just to reiterate that fact. Sorry, I know.
I'll be tracking Santa the night before too, and I don't use NORAD. I make up a Santa tracker just style.
Jeff is probably the finest and most experienced Santa tracker I've ever worked with.
I get pretty into it.
You work a lot of Christmas Eves. You get pretty proficient at the Santa. So this would be the GFS American model. Yeah, we're talking 7-8 days out here. So subject to change. Temperatures stay in the 40s and 50s. But this brings in the rain a little bit heavier. This would probably be indicating a little bit of a storm threat coming late Christmas Eve evening, overnight into the early morning hours of Christmas Day, but it also pushes the rain out a little bit earlier. So some of you celebrate on Christmas Eve. I know growing up, Christmas Eve was hosted at my parents' house for her side of the family, and Grandma would be there, my uncle would be there, my siblings, of course, and then Christmas Day was with the Burks. And that was where things were always a little bit, there's a lot of Burks. My dad is the oldest of 7, and each of my uncles, I got 4 uncles, and then my dad's 5 boys total, have 3 or more kids. So a lot of cousins.
It's a big family.
A lot of cousins. Grandma Burke was always working very hard on Christmas Day, but it was always 2 days of celebration, but yeah, Christmas Eve and then Christmas Day. So it depends on when you're heading out of town. If you're heading out of town this weekend, you guys, you're fantastic. It will just be chilly. If you're heading out Monday, even early in the day on Tuesday, I think you're all right. It depends on how far and where you're driving, of course, but that's kind of what we're looking at as far as that extended outlook too.
Nothing on that radar swipe right there looks like anything severe, but I imagine a little bit of wind. Like you probably right at the base of where that bright yellow red color is. You probably got a little wind there, maybe like 30, 35, you think?
Yeah, and you could see that big pink surge that I'm going to highlight right here, right along the county line between Colbert and Franklin. Starting to see some lightning strikes on the Shoals camera. We'll go back to that in a second. These aren't surface-based winds. These are elevated winds. Again, the Columbus radar site is all the way down there. So it's coming far away, not hitting the base of the storm. You're just never going to get a great look at it there. This is just a ton of heavy rain moving out of the Shoals. But I teased you with the Shoals camera, so we'll go back to it for a second.
There were a couple lightning strikes, just a second. Did you see those? Is that what you were talking about?
I did, yeah, that's what I referenced. You want to? Jeff's going to take over for a quick sec.
You want me to move stuff around? You sure about this? You trust me with this? Oh. Pretty good rain in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bop this up just a little bit camera-wise because I want to kind of try to get a better angle so you can see, well, the more I go up, the less you see, actually. But you can see the rain. You see some lightning, too. So we got some actual confirmation of the storms in the shoals already. But let's go back to the radar for just a minute. See if there's anything in here that really jumps out. This is just a big old rainmaker is what this is right now. I'm going to pause this for just a moment. I mean, overall, even up towards Fayetteville right now, Park City, you got some heavy rain coming your way here in just a moment.
How are we doing on our first alert weather day?
I'm doing good. We're live right now. You just got to say hi to absolutely everybody, which is fantastic.
I'm so sorry.
That's all right. Peyton in the house, everybody. She's got TVL coming up at 11 o'clock, so we'll be watching the radar, and she'll be giving you all the updates through TVL, which if you haven't watched before, it's a very entertaining show. And if you watched before, you know how good she is.
She does a fantastic job, absolutely.
She really does. It's hard to do a show like that, one person banding it, essentially, and she does a great job. So next, I just got the radar going. I'm going to go back to a different radar so you can see with it still where everything is. I want to zoom in just a moment here. What do you want to see?
I want to see what it.
We're good?
Okay, for all those with the NOAA weather radio, they usually do a test on Wednesday, the standard test. It's a setting that you could do on your NOAA weather radio. We're very proficient in programming those. That has been postponed. So if it normally goes off at noon, I think it's noon, on Wednesday, it will not go off today just because we are tracking rain and storms, and they don't want your NOAA weather radio to go off on a day like today because you think something substantial or of note is happening, and that is not the case here, at least for now. Can't speak for the rest of the morning or afternoon, but right now things are looking good.
Yeah, that little white line I drew in there, if we have some winds that are gusting 30, 35, where that white line is would probably be where the winds would be, I would imagine, preceding the line. Everybody likes a little, like when we put a storm tracker in on this. What is it, about 30 miles an hour?
I went 35. That was my
35?
best guesstimate earlier.
It's not severe, so what happens is with them not being severe, it's, you know, the timing of it can get thrown off a little bit just because we don't have a true time speed of it because nobody's put out a sign. Nobody's assigned the speed to it with any kind of special weather statement or anything, but that makes about sense. So if you see your time over there on the left, that gives you a basic idea of when the thunderstorms are going to affect your area. And again, these are just rainmakers right now with some lightning and thunder, just a typical thunderstorm for most locations.
Yeah, and this is for the next hour. If you would like to extend that storm track to show a little bit longer.
Oh, this is where you get fancy with
That's a right click up here
this.
because you did and then you just change this to
120.
120 or
Look at
90,
you. Look at
whatever
that.
you're feeling. Just you know, we want everyone to know
That's good stuff.
what's happening, and also with this line maybe slowing down, which a lot of the model guidance that I showed this morning, if you joined us, and even dating back to yesterday, the farther east it goes, the farther east this line goes, it's going to lose that kind of initial surge.
Yep.
And then, well, you could just hit cancel.
I can just hit cancel?
You
Okay.
could just hit
Yep.
cancel, and then you right-click on that.
I'm going to clear all this out.
There you go.
I'm
Very
going to
good.
take everybody up here because when I show, I'm going to show that line up here. But I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
Please go on.
a team effort here. Always helps to have someone else
I'm not as
alongside.
quick with the computer as he is. He's much faster than me with it.
Oh, stop. But that's for Middle Tennessee. The farther east this line went on the model guidance, the wider that line got. And that means that it's not as organized. It won't pack the same kind of wind punch that we're maybe experiencing right now. And the fatter the line gets, for technical terminology there, or the wider it is from west to east, the more of a kind of heavy rainmaker. And some of the models were hinting at that. And it'd be interesting to see exactly what time that starts to filter out a little bit.
It's kind of what you have happening right now with this. I went way out on this. This is way too far out, but you get a basic idea. I took the whole line that time. Like Debbie Ann thinks exactly like me. She said free car wash, and yeah, I could use that. But that's kind of, the kind of rain that you have with this. It's heavy enough where it is kind of like a free car wash. But again, you want to make sure, like Debbie Ann's also saying, squall line moving through Florence now.
Loosely.
Yeah.
Loosely. It might have had a shelf cloud on it, just based on kind of that surge of wind behind it. You get those big photogenic looks at it. Again, I was ranting about the radar and why I was doing a Facebook Live without severe weather and when we missed the potential shelf cloud. But guess what? We've got other cameras, and other cameras might show exactly what we may or may not be missing out on.
That Athens camera, I know it's not there yet, but sometimes when you turn that camera to the west, you get some pretty good looks up and over those buildings in Athens sometimes, and you can actually see what's coming your way. And even in Decatur, you can get a pretty good look. A little too far away from Decatur right now, but Athens might be able to be a good look. It just depends on if you can get up and over the trees if it's close enough at that point. We have some great cameras though.
We do,
and really
it makes a big difference when we're looking at this. What we see, greens, yellows, oranges, reds on the radar, sometimes it's just nice to, there you go, that's looking, that is west, yes?
Yes.
Yes, we are looking west here from east to the limestone. This is at our radar site. You go out to the I-65 Athens camera, and yeah, I mean, looking a little dark there. This is pointed northwest. That Swift truck that will drive by, that is heading northbound on I-65. And we've got another, where's my other? That one.
Clouds do look kind of dark in Athens a little bit. It looked like they had that stormy look to them when that look right there. A little bit.
Yeah. Samantha. Once the heaviest rain passes you, you'll have lingering what we call stratiform rain, just kind of general rain. You'll still probably hear some thunder, see some flashes of lightning once the heaviest rain moves off to the east, but any threat of stronger wind gust will end as soon as the worst of it pushes through. You might notice the temperature falling a couple of degrees too. Actually, the Shoals, perfect example here, was 66.
68.
68, and
Crazy.
now you're at 61. Now, some of that could be rain cooled air, of course. But yeah, that shows you the kind of the front and its effects moving through.
And the visibility has improved too. Remember we showed this camera about 5 minutes ago with that downpour. You couldn't even see the Wilson Dam. Now you can see it. That rain moves pretty quick through, and once it does, it's not as bad behind it.
It's kind of a quick hit there. This is the westbound camera up atop Saturn V. Oh, look closely. It looks like a fuzzy blip, but there's actually a plane coming into land at Huntsville International Airport.
You're good at finding those.
I assume it's a plane. It's kind of just a dark shadow.
As long as it's not a drone.
That too.
Look at that camera shaking right there too. Yeah, I think.
I bet you that's kind of a rough little choppy lane. Oh, too much. There it is. Coming in. You guys watching on your phone are probably like, what is he talking about?
The camera moving, but you're good at catching the planes. I would imagine, like for aviation purposes, when that line gets a little bit closer to Huntsville, not really a huge issue. I don't think there'll be any delays at the airport, but maybe have a plane that might have to circle around 1 or 2 times before making a landing with maybe some stronger winds aloft possibly, but.
Yeah, with the instrument landing systems they've got these days, and they just said, take it right on down. Probably not ideal. Little chop coming in. Oh, there's another plane. This one, general aviation, that would be going into a Redstone Army airfield there. I got the 2 airports and the runways, the landing strips not far from each other, a stone's throw, if you will.
Just to remind everybody too, we're on just tracking the line of more rainfall than any kind of severe weather. I know a lot of times when you see the reds and yellows, it can be pretty intimidating, but right now there's no damaging winds with this. There's some lightning with it, certainly probably loud. And I always say loud, bright, and wet is what this is, with some very heavy rainfall. We're not covering severe weather at this time. We're just keeping you updated with a friendly update, letting you know that there's some rainfall with a line of thunderstorms, non-severe, that are moving to the east at this time. We can actually come on and do things when it's not severe weather too.
Here is the airplane for those, another one coming in right behind the previous one. Follow that big blue arrow. So
this is a dumb Jeff question, but do you think you're getting a little bit more air traffic right now trying to get into the airport before that line moves in? I mean, not like they can go faster, but I don't know. It just seems like there's I've never seen one right after another like that where you're just firing them off.
Yeah, if you're a av geek or aviation geek, you'd always use FlightAware.
That's a great website.
It's a great website. Sometimes you'll hear Jeff talk about that in the morning. He's tracking flights. And yeah, there's a couple planes coming in right now. It's pretty much real-time data. So that's the second plane that was coming in was the flight from Charlotte, actually. And then got a couple helicopters there. Kind of neat.
It's a cool website if you want to geek out.
Kind of neat, yeah. Just we've got some downtime. Not every Facebook Live you get to kind of have some downtime, just kind of chit-chat, but
what's really cool about that flight, the web page, is when you go to like an airport that's really busy, like Newark, New Jersey, and you see all the different. It's amazing how many flights are coming in at one time. It's crazy.
Yeah. Tip of the hat to air traffic controllers. I don't know how they do it.
I don't get it.
The people flying the planes, the pilots as well.
Yeah.
Those men and women.
Pilots are kind of important.
Yeah. Someone needs to drive the bus, right? But yeah, still got about 150 of y'all just kind of hanging
See
out.
anything, that radar to me just looks like more of a weakening process as it moves south and east, and again, rain, yes, but nothing that really jumps out as even strong or severe at this time. The lightning strikes have gone down just a little bit more too. Do you have another plane coming in?
I know. I think they're just the general aviation ones are probably just in the traffic pattern. They're doing some training, touch and goes, or I don't know. If anyone wants to loan me about 40 grand, I will go get my private pilot's license and I'll tell you more about aviation. But
we have a gentleman, I forget his name. He's a good guy and he follows us, and he's a big aviation guy. And we also what is it in Brownsboro where they have that flight tracking school or that flight school? It's over by Moontown Airport.
Moontown Airport, that grass
Yes.
strip, that is very, very close to my house.
Casey Few Lambert's husband did that whole thing where they were doing like flights where they were taking kids up. Remember that one weekend? Big draw that weekend too. A whole bunch of people showed up for it, and it was really cool.
Very cool. That, and we had an email to the newsroom. There is a school in Athens, I believe, that teams up with Pryor Airport out there in Decatur, and some of these high schoolers kind of get a general taste and knowledge of aviation and all the future. So it's great that our younger kids get to experience that as well.
That's cool.
I know, I think there was a school out in the northwest part of the state too that was getting some of the high school students involved too. So things that were not offered to us when we were in high school.
Well, what about like nowadays too? Drone schools you can go to and learn how to fly. And I'm telling you, you want to make some cash, learn how to fly a drone, get your license, and go take pictures of things that people will hire you to do stuff.
Yeah.
It's really big.
We're going back to 4th of July, out with my wife Heather watching fireworks in Madison, Dublin Park, and they had the drones right up there in the fireworks, obviously unmanned, controlled from a safe distance. But think of how cool that video and imagery would be to really, just see that close.
And think about how much you could get paid for doing that for somebody, for a town, like if they want to promote Chamber of Commerce or something.
Yeah.
Also, drones being very, very used a lot in weather now too. When it comes to thunderstorm activity, keeps people away from the storm where they can maybe fly a drone close. Obviously, if the winds are too much, no. and obviously any kind of tornadoes, no. But
Gonna need a big sturdy drone.
big sturdy drone would work for that, right?
for something along those lines. But yeah, every now and again on social media, you see someone, some of the storm trackers, storm chasers too. They put the drones up, and you get, which is really cool because you see kind of the inflow, the updrafts, the downdrafts in the clouds, and it's just really neat to kind of study from that perspective.
Sort of like making the movie Twister come to life.
Yes. 10:16, again, Tennessee Valley Living. That will be starting at 11 o'clock. We're just kind of chatting you guys' ears off here, ranting. I think just the more basic trend here, the farther east things go, the weaker this line is actually going to get. And that's going back to the kidney bean graphic, kind of was our thought process with this the whole time. And even last night, Brad, talking to you, and now this morning, we're kind of saying, you know, the overall threat for severe storms is low. Can a severe storm be ruled out? No, but the overall threat for severe storms was just generally low, kind of with the setup lacking a lot of wind shear, turning direction of wind with height, or speed shear, which is increasing speed the higher up you go in the atmosphere, kind of lacking some of those elements there.
And the Cape values looked like they would be a little stronger last night with some of the forecast runs. It looked like this morning some of the Cape values or the instability was a little bit lower with some of the morning runs. So like for now, like if you live in Athens or you live in Decatur or Huntsville or Newmarket, that line that you see there, I think is going to pack the most punch. It already kind of has done that. So now the more east it goes, a weakening system at this point, or a weakening line, means that it really truly becomes more of a rain event for areas east. Now, could you still get a gust wind up to 35, 40? You can't rule it out. But as it moves east, the chance of it staying strong or gaining strength is not really on the cards or in the forecast for today.
And that's a good thing.
It's a very good thing.
We don't root for severe weather here.
I know I don't.
Yeah. We like the 70 and sunny days, or if you're one that think, oh, it's December, it's almost winter, it should be cold. If you like the 45 and sunny, hey, we've got that coming your way too. And that will be Friday, Saturday, a little bit warmer Sunday, upper 40s.
And even that air mass, you know, a week ago, we were talking on air, I think it was last Wednesday, I said, you know, some of the forecast models has in the 30s. I said, hey, give it time. There's going to probably be some moderation to that by the time we get to that weekend. And now you got 40s, and it doesn't really look like it's going to be an Arctic blast by any means, but certainly cooler though.
Also not rooting for Arctic blasts too. The electric bill goes up a little bit. Just makes life a little more challenging here. I've lived in plenty of cold weather climates. You go to visibility, the fog that we had this morning, that actually improved a lot faster than it had the two previous mornings, Monday and Tuesday. Jeff was tracking some of that this morning regarding your commute. The visibility you see up in Middle Tennessee, that's just rain related at this time. Go to the Athens camera.
So one thing we really haven't had in a while is a start to finish sunny day. You know, that comes not even really tomorrow, though, maybe even some clouds in the morning, but probably by Friday we'll get back into that.
Go Athens camera, please. Getting close to my lunchtime, my stomach might start growling here. Come on, Athens. Just being a little slow.
It's moving, but you can't see it move. It makes it very difficult. You it's a guess at where you're at.
Okay.
It does this to me on the weekends.
There will be some abrupt camera changes here.
You don't know.
So brace yourself for that.
You're doing a pretty good job considering that you're moving the camera blindly at this point.
Not the picturesque shelf we were looking for. Might pop into 70 degrees here. If we do it, we got to do it quick before the rain cools things down. Something you might have heard mentioned yesterday is if we hit 70, we needed no fog this morning.
Yeah,
but we're awfully close here for 10:20. See, now I'm getting into.
Yeah. Just so everybody knows, Eric's very good at moving the cameras. He can't see what he's moving. He's doing it essentially blindly because we can't see it on the screen. But he's doing a pretty good job of showing you where the storm clouds are.
Trying my best.
With the shoals, interesting to see how fast the shoals has dropped. It was, 68 when we first watched that line of storms move in. 61 last time you looked at it. I imagine that be in the 50s in the shoals here soon.
Quickly.
Yeah, that's a fast drop. I mean,
Tammy's driving between Russellville and Moulton, and those clouds look bad. Yeah, looking at that on our Athens cam too. So everything looks good, behaving. Potential rainfall with this, I'd say 1/4 to 1/2 inch is probably in the wheelhouse for just about everyone. As some of you maybe in Middle Tennessee, upwards of 1/2 inch to 3/4. And notice how the model really kind of leaves out northeast Alabama regarding your potential rainfall there. And that's part of that weakening trend that we're looking at.
Tammy just said, the storms look scary and sometimes a little bit more of a bark than bite with this one, where the clouds look very intimidating, but navigating the heavy rainfall might be the biggest challenge for Tammy when she drives from Russellville to Moulton.
Yeah, visibility going to fall quickly. Speaking of temperatures, Jeff said we might be in the 50s there in the shoals. You're at 61 right now. We're at 68. Look at Lawrenceburg, though, 57, Pulaski, 59. And we've got 70 in Meridianville. So, it shows you the temperatures falling, the rain cooled air, and then you get the northwesterly wind pulling in that colder air in tow, too. So that's pretty much what we've got for you right now. Again, no pressing, imminent, severe weather threat. Just kind of showing you the radar, how things are progressing. Got the lightning there. Looks like lightning is consistent. If you're in parts of central, northern Lawrence County, oh boy, it's going to get noisy. A lot of heavy rain coming your way too. Far eastern Lauderdale, and then moving into parts of western, northwestern Limestone County. But happy with our timeline graphic, that's for sure. Cortland, going to get noisy. Same goes for you in the Trinity area. Leeton, Town Creek, oh yeah, right on top of you. Heading toward downtown Athens, Tanner, eventually Decatur. Can move the Decatur camera. Show that in more of a west-northwesterly direction. And it helps if I click on it so you actually see what I'm talking about. And there you go. Just looking dark there too. Gonna reset the view, head back to you in Lincoln County. And we'll stop moving that. There you go. Heavy rain about to move through parts of Fayetteville. A little bit of lightning, but the lightning is either concentrated farther to your northeast over McMinnville there, or a lot of it's actually to your southwest. The biggest concentration of lightning is going to be right there near the Cortland area. I like to check the velocity returns and not see anything concerning. It's a nice treat.
Just rain. Look at that.
Just rain.
Eric looks at me. He's like, "What you got?" I'm like, "It's rain."
say something.
But I will say this though, and anytime you have loud thunder and vivid lightning or heavy rain like we did Monday night, those of you who have, like I have a dog who gets very scared, the storm doesn't have to be severe to have an impact for you. And sometimes too, we get so caught up on severe thunderstorm warnings, but I thought Eric did a great job this morning saying, hey, look, the wind doesn't have to be 60 miles an hour to topple over a limb and it maybe knock out a little power for you. And if you're one of the towns that has that happen with a 30 to 40 mile an hour gust, that's just bad luck. And you might lose power for the afternoon or a couple hours. But we always get focused on severe. But remember, thunder, lightning, and rainfall are not criteria for severe thunderstorms. But you can still have a pretty loud and bright storm that's pretty scary, even if you don't have a severe thunderstorm warning.
Say more nice things about me, Jeff. Appreciate that. But yeah, things look good. Things are cooperating. Coming up about 10:30 now, almost 10:26 at least. Just tracking the rain coming through right now. Shoals still at 61. So. This is we'll put one more storm track on this for you, and then we'll probably leave it at that. And obviously, as this progresses eastward, meteorologist Chelsea Aaron will be keeping an eye on that for you. And we will, of course, cut into programming as needed. Not looking likely at this time, and always grateful for that. Gonna leave that storm track up for you for a bit, and then we'll probably be wrapping this thing up, and we will send you on your merry way on this Wednesday. Wishing everyone a very early Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. For the Huntsville area, though, that would be, where are you? Not even showing up here.
Starting to run out of spots. There's so many towns. But
yep, Ardmore Twins there, 10:30. Fayetteville, 10:32, which is in a couple minutes here. Moulton, 10:48. Athens, 10:49. Trinity, Tanner, right in the 10:55 range. Harvest, 11:04. So that would mean Madison, maybe 11:07. And we'll go 11:11. Make a wish there for downtown Huntsville, and then just progressing eastward as we go through the rest of the morning here.
By the time these get to Jackson and DeKalb County, they're probably going to be losing a little bit of steam, but still could get some decent rain. Hopefully you do get some rainfall. Though areas in not so much Jackson, but DeKalb County have actually done pretty well with rainfall this month. And in the drought monitor, there's actually a little yellow there, which most areas do not have that. Areas in Jackson County, especially closer to the Tennessee state line, could really use some rainfall, though.
All right, we're just we'll give you the quick recap, and again, we'll kind of wrap things up here. Show the general timeline graphic. This doing pretty good, if I must say so. 10 o'clock there for the yellow area through about 1 p.m., and then last but not least, Marshall, Jackson, and DeKalb County. This should be off into Georgia as we go after the late afternoon into the evening commute, maybe just some lingering light rain showers. Concerns with this, primary concern, heavy rain and frequent lightning there. Those are the big concerns. Some gusty winds possible, not expecting severe wind gusts per se, but there you go. Appreciate everyone spending some time with us, hanging out with us here on this Wednesday. Again, First Alert Weather Day will continue probably up until the 4 o'clock newscast. So everyone that has joined us, we appreciate you. For meteorologist Jeff Denoyer, meteorologist Eric Burke. Again, join Peyton Walker, meteorologist Chelsea Aaron. Tennessee Valley Living starts at 11. A new newscast, Gina Benitez, Chelsea again, and then updates during NBC News Daily there from 1 to 2. So have a good day.
Got you
See ya.
covered.
Join his coffee times. Good stuff every Saturday and Sunday morning. Have a great day, guys.